Hi, and welcome to Northwest Brew Talk. I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
This is episode number 19. Each week we promote the Washington brewing industry by talking to those people involved in drinking Washington beer. With over 200 breweries, we try to highlight as many as possible every episode. On today's show, we will have an interview with Ashtown Brewing, our brew news and views, and local music from Red Heart Alarm.
If you have any comments or questions, send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. We are on Twitter at nwbrewtalk and on Facebook at facebook.com/nwbrewtalk. If you like the show and want to support us, why not become a patron? With their donation, we offer everything from a mention on the show to a copy of our upcoming book, Washington Beer. Head over to nwbrewtalk.podbean.com for more details. To start the show, let's open our first beer.
All right, this is called Brunette, and it's from Orlison Brewing.
Brewing the best lagers in the Pacific Northwest takes more than skill and drive. It requires a staff of dedicated beer lovers and a brewmaster who understands what it takes to create crisp, refreshing, and flawless lagers worthy of the world stage. Orlison Brewing Company, located in Airway Heights, Washington, is a small craft lager brewery looking to convert ale enthusiasts everywhere into true lager fans. Originally founded in 2009, years of tried and true brewing methods provide their team with the knowledge and capabilities needed to create the best craft beers available in the Pacific Northwest. They are also the first inland Northwest brewery to can their beer, a distinction they are proud of.
All right. Yes, you're probably going to say this, but this is definitely a dark copper color. And malty flavor. And definitely a brown type beer, but it's pretty good.
The Brunette, brewed from September until February, is described on their website as a European-style brown lager that mixes the robust malt character of a British brown mild with the easy finish of a German lager. Through the blending of 5 different malts, this beer features a complex, smooth, and highly flavorful body with hints of nut, cocoa, and a hint of coffee. With an airy, silky mouth feel and such an incredibly complementing series of flavors, Brunette is sure to become your new favorite lager. Brunette won a bronze medal in the American Dark Lager category at the 2010 World Beer Cup. That sounds like my kind of beer.
Yes. There was some flavors in there, and could be that coffee. Maybe that's what I'm tasting. But yeah, that's pretty good. And did you say what the ABV on that was?
4.2%.
4.2. So this is a beer that you should be able to drink. Several of them. And Orlison's logos, whatever, is Brew No Evil.
Brew No Evil.
All right. And now on to the news.
Orlison Brewing Company in Bellingham has opened a second brewery in the city to accommodate demand for their beers. According to BellinghamTapTrail.com, the new brewery is nicknamed KZ, is 21 and over, and has a 30-barrel brew house, twice their original brewery. They have a new canning line and a, quote, seriously stylish tap room, unquote. The new brewery will produce their flagship beers, and their James Street brewery more specialty, seasonal, and experimental brews. They produced about 3,100 barrels of beer in 2014 and expect to pump out 12,000 barrels by 2016. West Seattle Brewing Company in Seattle has undergone a transformation. Owner Drew Locke bought out his original partner, remodeled the tap room, added an espresso machine. They now offer breakfast sandwiches and flatbread pizza, soups, and salads. They've also upgraded to a 7-barrel system and will be open early until midnight.
As far as social media goes, there are a couple giants: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We use all three, but to differing degrees. According to a new study by social data and analytics company Engagement Labs, they've determined which beer brand does the best at engaging with their audiences on Twitter. Any guess who that is? At Miller Lite. That's right, not Bud, but one of the other mega brands. Second place went to at Stella Artois, which is owned by, or Artois, whatever, which is owned by Anheuser-Busch InBev. AB's at Bud Light, well, they didn't do so well after their big label blunder. And then they went silent for several days on Twitter, which did not help their statistics. So if you own one of the craft breweries in Washington, it's time to kick up the social media interactions. That's apparently what really helps to drive everything.
Blackbird's Brewing opened Memorial Weekend in Westport. They feature beer and pizza, two of our favorites. The brewery is kid-friendly, and early reviews say great pizza and beer. Sounds like we need to check it out.
Yep.
This month, they'll be open just Saturdays and Sundays, but come July, they'll be open 7 days a week. Bainbridge Brewing on Bainbridge Island will be celebrating their 3rd anniversary on June 12th and 13th. They will feature rare beers, 3rd anniversary ale, and some other big news. They're beginning bottle release of several popular beers and debuting a new logo. General Manager Chuck Everett said, quote, "There is a huge demand both on and off the island for bottles of our beer, and it opens whole new avenues for us to let people across Western Washington enjoy Bainbridge beer," unquote. They also renamed the brewery Bainbridge Brewing from Bainbridge Island Brewing to simplify things. Founded in 2012 by a father and son team, they are open 7 days a week. Thanks to Washington Beer Blog for the news.
I don't think that renaming it made it much easier to say, did it?
No, it's not easy. At least not for me to say. Maybe it's easier for other people.
Washington Beer Blog again reported that Hellbent Brewing opened this past Saturday in Seattle, May 30th it was. The new brewery is located at 13035 Lake City Way Northeast. They are a 21 and over brewery, allowing them to pour more beers, including those from head brewer Brian Young, whose previous experience includes Red Hook, Gordon Biersch, and Rock Bottom. DowntownYakima.com announced that Hop Nation opened in early April in downtown Yakima. Brewer Ben Grossman has worked for Coors, among others. The big news is that the grand opening is this Friday, June 5th, and it will feature a bevy of fun, including belly dancers, flamethrowers, barbecue, live music, and sword swallowers. Ben is calling it a beer carnival. So if you're in Yakima, check out Hop Nation at 31 North 1st Avenue for the entertainment and, of course, the beer. And that is the brew news and views this week.
Welcome back to Northwest Brew Talk. If you want to submit news to Northwest Brew Talk, send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. If you have not yet subscribed to our podcast, why not do it now? It's free, available anywhere you listen to podcasts, including iTunes, Podbean, and Stitcher. If you like us, a review or rating would be really appreciated, but make sure to tell your friends about Northwest Brew Talk.
All right, and since it's the first week of the month, we are doing 3 beers, and our second beer tonight is from Bridgeport Brewing in Oregon, and it's Hop Czar.
Bridgeport Brewing Company is Oregon's oldest craft brewery. It continues to evolve from a microbrewery to a regional leader in the craft brewing market, while remaining faithful to its commitment to producing high-quality, innovative craft ales. The Hop Czar that we're drinking has an ABV of 7.5%.
Nice golden color, a lot of head on it, and got a nice smell.
On Bridgeport's website, their description of the Hop Czar is that it is brewed with an irresponsible amount of hops and balanced by a robust malt backbone. Bridgeport revolutionized the IPA style, and this Imperial Indian Pale Ale is a worthy bloodline to their award-winning heritage.
Could be ours, but we won't take credit for it. Yeah, this is definitely hoppy. A little bitter at the end there, but I do tend to like the hoppiness, so this is pretty good.
Good, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I thought you might like it.
What's the ABV on this one?
7.5%.
All right. I couldn't drink 2 of these. And this is a bomber, so if I drank one of them, I'd probably be done for the night. All right. Now we're going to talk to Jarrett Screen from Ashtown Brewing. We're here with Jarrett Screen, one of the founders of Ashtown Brewing in Longview, Washington. How you doing today?
Good.
Awesome. First off, why don't you let everybody know where Longview is?
Longview is right off I-5 between Portland and Seattle. We're about 45 minutes straight north of Portland, Oregon.
Okay, so not too far from Vancouver then.
Nope, probably 25, 30 minutes from Vancouver, Washington as well.
Okay, awesome. So, how did you get involved in the brewing business?
Well, my cousin and I, who's the other co-founder, who is my business partner, he has been home brewing for quite a few number of years, and we had lived together in college, moved away, explored some career options elsewhere, and when we both moved back to the Northwest, started home brewing again, and realized in Longview, when every time that we would come home for family or holidays or whatever, it was really tough to find a good place locally where we could go have a good beer and with the right environment or setting that we'd want to as well, without having to listen to some horrible karaoke or bad music or whatever. So we were out fishing one day and just kind of came up with the idea to just build our own place. So started putting the paperwork together and brewing very, very often to refine some recipes. So are the recipes both of yours? Yeah, they are. Yep, we both came up with them. Obviously tweaked them since day one, but kind of still have the basic ideas or methodologies when coming up with them that we started day one. A couple of those are, obviously balance within anything from an IPA to a porter is just having everything, very balanced in there. So that's kind of our thoughts on beer from day one, and still hold true to that today. I saw it looked like you had a few different beers, not all the typical that everybody would have. Yeah, like what? Well, like you had a German brown, or you had a brown ale or a brown IPA or something, and a couple other ones too that were a little, not your typicals. Yeah. We do venture outside the normal beers every once in a while. We do make a German alt beer. We have infused some porters, so we do like a coconut porter. Right. We do a big heavy coffee stout or espresso stout that we do with the local coffee roaster. And last year we did a blackberry IPA. Nice. So you're the only brewery in your area, right? There's another small one in town as well called Five Dawns Brewing. Oh, okay. So you guys are. Did you create the location that you were hoping to do? Yeah. Well, I mean, we both went into it with very humble expectations. Started out small, hoping that build a place, an environment where people want to come and sit and stay and enjoy themselves. Very low key atmosphere, and then also, provide the quality of beer that will keep them coming back. And so far, I feel that we're exceeding our expectations with that. We stay busy. We do sell a lot of beer based on how often we're having to make it, and just the feedback from the community has been very positive. So we feel that we have. At this juncture, met our expectation with what we were hoping to do. Awesome. So, what size system are you brewing on? We're now on a 10-barrel system, and slowly moving into a 20-barrel system. Wow. Okay. We started with six barrels on a system we bought up a brewery closing in Ohio. We do have a 20-barrel kettle that we did find, and so we've upgraded to 3 10-barrel fermenters and 6 10-barrel brights, and then we're slowly moving into a 20-barrel system currently.
Nice. So how often are you brewing then?
Right now we're brewing once a week.
Okay. And do you know how many, let's see, you opened in September 2013, right?
Correct.
Okay. So how many barrels did you do last year then?
Oh boy, I should have that number in front of me, shouldn't I?
Round guess.
What's that?
A round guess is good.
Oh, round guess? Oh boy. Let's see. We probably did close to, I don't know, 300 barrels.
Okay. So you're looking to increase that this year then?
Absolutely, yeah. We've already hit that, or come close to hitting that already. We're on pace to shatter that this year.
Oh wow!
Especially after upgrading into the 10 barrel and brewing religiously once a week, and then with hopefully having the 20 barrel system up and going by the end of summer, we're definitely going to increase our barrelage year to year.
Okay. So do you is your place just for beer? Do you have any food or people bring it in?
Yeah, it's just beer. We don't have a kitchen on site.
Okay.
We do allow people to bring takeout or delivery in. And then we also open a food cart that stays out front of the brewery during our business hours as well. Okay.
So how much of the beer do you sell on premises? Do you distribute any of it?
We do not distribute yet. We've really had a hard time keeping up with capacity the last since we opened, actually, and the new 10-barrel system has definitely eased that a little bit, but not to a point where we're able to distribute regularly to customers. So we are waiting until the 20-barrel system's up and going, and that will be purely a production brewery for distribution.
Wow. So you sell everything that you brew right on premises then?
Yeah, yep. We sell everything we brew on premise. We do local events and community. We are very involved in the community, and with the local Chamber of Commerce and some of the organizations around here. So, you can find our beer at certain events and functions. We did recently do a collaboration IPA with Backwoods Brewing out of Carson.
Okay.
And we did distribute a few of those kegs locally here as well.
Okay. So, of the beers that you brew, are any one of them like a signature beer?
Well, it's funny you ask. The one we least expected. My cousin and I were real big on porters and stouts, and obviously you have to have an IPA at a certain type of IPA on at all times, but. Right. Actually, our raspberry wheat has become our biggest seller. And that was, we made that every summer and was specifically going to be just a summer seasonal that we would release. But when we opened our doors and didn't have it on tap and people were turning away and leaving because that's what they wanted, we decided that we should probably keep that on at all times.
Wow. Yeah, I gotta keep the customer.
And then now it's grown into our biggest seller.
Huh, crazy. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
And
you don't. I mean, what's that?
No, I was going to say, and what you guys want to do is not what the customer always wants. So you want to keep them coming back.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, you got to listen. You got to listen to your regulars and your customers and everything like that. And we have 8 taps on right now, so it definitely gives us the option to carry other beers. But that definitely grew into the biggest seller. Along with living in the Northwest, your IPA is going to always blow through as well. So we always got to try to keep that on tap as well. Yeah,
I don't think you can have a brewery without one.
Yeah, we when we run out of our IPA, we definitely get a lot of guff for it, just because there's so many hopheads out there, and like I said, living in the Northwest, gotta have that IPA on.
Definitely. Now, are there any styles that you guys want to pursue that you haven't done yet?
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely when we increase our space and capacity, we're definitely going to start a sour program.
Okay.
We have an assistant brewer that's been very successful with that in the past on a smaller scale at home.
Okay.
And then try to venture into a little bit more of the imperials, and the barrel aging program as well.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The sours seem to be the big thing right now that everybody wants to try.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's definitely, you have to have the space, capacity, and time, for that beer to sit around and do its thing.
Right.
So we're excited to have the space to do that in the future.
Great. So do you guys, do you have any hops or yeast preferences?
We do use a lot of Cascade in a lot of our recipes, so that is a hop that we enjoy, and that is a hop that we grow ourselves as well. We have a small hop yard up on my cousin's property here in Longview.
Nice.
As far as yeast, we try to stick with the we don't have our own strain yet. Haven't ventured down that road yet, but we do use 2 or 3 different strains to try to keep with the style of beers that we're making, definitely. But as far as hops, we got our hands on some Simcoe hops and have really enjoyed the beers that we've made with that. Just the nose on it and just the flavor of those hops have been really great in the beers that we've used them in. Always trying to get our hands on Citra. That's a great hop. We do make a couple IPAs that we use Citra in that turned out really nice. So, we're still small guy, and sometimes it is a little bit more difficult to get our hands on certain types of hops out there. So we do what we can, and what we can get our hands on, we definitely enjoy making the beers while we have those hops in stock.
That's great. Do you, to go along with that, do you try to source your ingredients locally?
Yeah, we do. It's a great thing having Great Western malting right in your backyard. But we do a couple fresh hop beers with local hops from quite a few of the home brewers and just community members that do grow their own hops. And then we use our own that we grow. As far as like ingredients, we are exploring that a little bit more often, trying to find ingredients that are native to this area, like blackberries and other types of fruit and things like that. But we haven't, other than the raspberry wheat, we just made a blackberry wheat. Haven't really, done a whole lot in that area. We do try to source as much as we can locally, absolutely. Whether it's beer ingredients or, merchandise and things like that. We are very local minded.
That's always good. Yeah, and that goes along with what you said about your place being like a community center kind of place too.
Well, absolutely. From day one, we've talked about that where, there's the beer, Portland's got a high concentration. Portland and Seattle both have a high concentration of what we call beer connoisseurs, where, they're out to find the next brew and the great beer. But really a brewery is built and established on your local community. And if your local community backs you up and supports you, you're going to be successful, and it's the opposite if not. So we really do cater to our local community, really taking to heart what they're telling us and what they're saying, and their opinion, extremely matter.
That's great. Now, Have you entered any of your beer in competitions yet?
Not official competitions. We are going to enter some beer into Great American Beer Fest this year, and we're currently coming up with some recipes and modifications to some beers to send off to that. We haven't exactly chosen which ones we're going to do yet, but this would be our first competition. Both my cousin and I, growing up playing sports and being competitive, we really, as far as the beer goes, we really didn't get into it for the ribbons and medals.
Mm-hmm.
If they happen to come our way, we'll gladly accept them. But our sole purpose in this whole venture wasn't for the ribbons and the awards. But someday, that stuff may come as we start to, get more and more beer out there and maybe enter some stuff.
Awesome. So, what do you think makes your beer stand out from the crowd?
Well, one of the things is consistency, is really trying to not, if we're going to make any changes, not making them too drastic. But it's really going back to our original idea when we first started brewing was drinkability and balance, trying to make the beer as smooth as possible to where, there's always those opportunities to make those beers that just like kick you in the face, whether it's an IPA or an Imperial or whatever. But our goal is always just really try to make our beer as smooth and flavorful and balanced as possible. And I think that's really paid off for us, based on the feedback we get from a lot of our customers, where our raspberry wheat isn't very sweet or tart. It's just a, light hint of raspberry, and our coffee stout is just enough coffee in there that it's there, but it doesn't taste like you dumped a pot of coffee into that keg or whatever. So that idea has really helped us be successful with our customers, and especially with a lot of customers that are fairly new to craft beer, that they're jumping off the Budweiser train and trying to start, venturing out and trying this whole craft brew craze. It really helps them ease into it when you have, drinkable, balanced, and smooth beer.
So if you get one of those Budweiser people in, what do you steer them towards?
Oh boy, the Raz Wheat is a very good gateway beer, we call it,
right.
Because you're not getting, it's not, a lot of the light beer drinkers don't really prefer hops.
Mm-hmm.
They're not drinking those beers for the bitterness or the hops. So I usually steer them away from there. And then the other question I usually ask them is if they like coffee or chocolate, and maybe they want to try one of the dark beers, and they need to taste it with their eyes closed, because it's funny how many people think dark beers are so like thick and heavy and chewy and everything, when a lot of times it's some good flavor and color in there, and it really throws them off their rocker when they taste a porter or stout and they like it. They like dark beer now.
Yeah.
So it's just a couple of interview questions I throw at them to see what their where their taste buds lie on one side or the other, and then it's usually one of the lighter beers. We do have a pale ale, and then our German Alt's a very like smooth, easy drinking beer. So those are usually the recommendations for some of the light beer drinkers.
Nice. Yeah, my wife was not a beer drinker, and then we went and did a sample, and she found she liked the dark beers. She likes coffee, and now she finds out that good beer is good. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just getting people to try just a little bit, just to open their mind. And like I say, don't taste with their eyes. They see that dark and they instantly like, oh, I'm not gonna like that. And I obviously don't force anybody into anything, but an ounce of beer isn't gonna kill anybody.
Yeah, exactly. So once you get your bigger system and you're able to start distributing, have you thought about canning or bottling?
Yeah, absolutely. Bottling will be our first project once the keg distribution is up and running. We definitely want to get some bottles out there in local bottle shops. Even it's even a great idea for selling out of your own establishment. But yeah, bottling is definitely on the horizon for us. We're excited to get that going. I already have someone doing some rough sketches on some labels, and we're hoping that it is not too far off after we get that system up and running.
Awesome. So, will we be seeing you at any of the festivals then?
Yes, absolutely. We will be at the ones that we're confirmed in so far officially is always Vancouver Brew Fest at Esther Shore. We'll be at the Gorge Blues and Brews. We'll be at Washington Brewers Fest up in Redmond. Mm-hmm. We'll probably do Olympia Brew Fest, and then I'm trying to think. We always do the Beer Garden for Klamath Blues Fest, which isn't really a beer fest, but it's a local event that has a pretty big draw. Not going to do Oregon Brewers Fest this year. But then also keeping our eyes out for anything else that pops up along the way. We'd definitely love to do some of the winter beer fest this coming winter as well.
Great. Now, you brought up Oregon. Now, do you get people coming up from the Portland area trying your beers?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, Longview's a nice kind of midway point depending on where you're going. And we're really, really close to the freeway, just a couple turns, a couple miles off the freeway. So we do get a lot of people heading either north or south from Seattle and Portland. And we do also get a lot of people that are traveling to the coast because we have the big main bridge here that goes over the Columbia River.
Okay.
Other than Portland, it's the next bridge that you can get over to Oregon from Washington here. So we do get a lot of people traveling through Longview north and to the coast.
So what's been the reaction from people from Portland who have a plethora of beers to choose from?
It's been very positive, actually. We're very we're very modest, and we drink. We drink all kinds of beer. We go down to Portland a lot, go to Vancouver, and always trying to taste new beer and what everybody else is making and all that. So we do get a good response from people from Portland. We do get a lot of regulars that travel from Portland north that stop in, when they come through town now that I've noticed. But it's been all very positive. No real head-to-head judgment to any of the big breweries in Portland, but a couple comments of tasting similar to other people's, which is a huge compliment to us. Based on the size and the notoriety of some of the breweries that are down in Portland. So the other comment we do get is that our place looks like the way we've kind of built our tasting room. A lot of people feel like it feels like Portland in there as well.
Oh, cool. So, yeah, before we wrap this up, your life before a brewer, you were a headhunter, huh?
Yeah, I was in the corporate world for quite a few years and just figured out it wasn't for me. That the shirt and tie and no beard just kind of wasn't appealing after a while. I was always in sales, so I loved working with people and meeting people and talking to people, but just wasn't up for the whole big corporate thing. So I'm glad this is working out so far for my cousin and I, because it's definitely a much better fit for myself, being able to be in the tasting room and meet everybody and talk to people and all the friends that we've made so far. It's definitely a drastic change. Headhunting and recruiting treated me well and taught me a lot over the years, but you finally just reach a point where it's not really you anymore. And so I'm glad that we've found this opportunity to do what we're doing right now.
Excellent. I've been there. I know exactly what you're talking about.
A lot of us probably have, to be honest. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Well, so you get those recipes going and start brewing.
Exactly. Well, Jared Screen from Ashtown Brewing in Longview, thank you very much for joining us today.
Hey, absolutely. It was a pleasure talking to you, and it's a great thing that you're doing with the podcast. I think that's awesome.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks to Jared from Ashtown for joining us today, and we will be right back after a local music break from Red Heart Alarm.
Serving up my pain, and I'm just drowning in your weight. You keep serving up my pain, and I'm just drowning in your weight. And if you fix me one more drink, I swear I'll never drink again. Crawl back to my place, and I'll get sober there. And I'll dream a sleepless dream, and I'll wake up with my head pounding like you're knocking on my door. You keep serving up my pain, and I can't take it anymore. Passed out on your floor. And if you fix me one more drink, I swear I'll never drink again. Crawl back to my place and we'll get sober there. And I dream a sleepless dream, and I'll wake up with my head pounding like you're knocking on my door. On my door. Pounding like you're knocking on my door. Serving, the devil calls my name and pulls me right back through the door. Oh, but who's a servant indentured to complain and end up where we were before? And if you fix me one more drink, I swear I'll never drink again. Crawl back to my place and I'll get sober there. And I'll dream a sleepless dream, and I'll wake up with my head pounding like you're knocking on my door. On my door. Pounding like you're knocking on my door. On my door.
That was Receipt from Red Heart Alarm. You can check them out at redheartalarm.com. If you want to have your music played on Northwest Brew Talk, make sure you contact us today.
And a couple weeks ago, we took a ride down to Olympia to get some photos for the new book. And we stopped at a Gravity Bottle Shop. Great little shop there. It wasn't really big, but they had a ton of Washington beers. And I think I picked up 8 different beers there. So that was a good stop. Nice little place. And also, on the way back, we stopped in Tacoma at Harmon Brewery. That was a good place, wasn't it?
Yeah, very good. Food was great.
Yeah.
Service was nice.
And I liked the place. I liked the interior was pretty cool. And it was a nice place. Overall, it was a good place and a good beer.
Kid friendly too, which is always important.
Yep, definitely kid friendly. More so than almost any place. They had games that kids could play, like video games and stuff that they could take to the table and play.
Etch a sketches.
Yeah, very cool. My son liked that, which he's never played with one, I guess. But so that was very cool. Now let's try another beer. This time I have a Field 41 from Bale Brewing.
Bale Brewing Company is the newest craft brewery to open in the heart of our nation's hop country. But while the brewery is new on the scene, the family behind the beer is not. The great-grandparents of owners Patrick Smith, Megan Quinn, and Kevin Smith first planted hops in the Yakima Valley in 1932, the year before Prohibition ended. Now, 82 years later, their love of hops and passion for craft beer has led them to where they are today, in the midst of running a production brewery surrounded by their family's hop fields, just down the road from where they were born and raised.
All right. Golden color. Did I hit you with it? Oh. Golden color. And nice citrusy smell. As soon as I open the can, I could smell that. And it says right on the can, fresh off the farm.
And from Bale Breaker's website, don't be fooled by the powerful hop aroma of Field 41 Pale Ale. Heavily dry hopped with Simcoe and Atenum, this perfectly sessionable pale ale drinks easy with a smooth bitterness and is named for the hop field that is home to Bale Breaker Brewing Company. Light and refreshing, it's the perfect beer for a day on the river or an afternoon on the slopes. And make sure you check out our interview with the owners of Bale Breaker in episode 7.
How much? What's the ABV on this one?
4.5%.
Yeah, citrusy and nice hoppy flavor. Very good.
Your kind of beer?
Yes. All right, and that brings us to the end of this episode of Northwest Brew Talk.
Make sure you tune in next week when we chat with Todd from Hilliard's.
The show is produced and edited by me with engineering help from Michelle Rizzo.
If you want to contact us, you can email us at nwbrewtalk@gmail.com or you can give us a call at 541-595-TALK. That's 541-595-8255.
Until next time, I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
Stay hopping, my friends.